Thanks for joining us for Profile. I'm Ian Bourne, your host. Today we speak to a young Jamaican engineer at Google Corporation, Dr. Sheldon Logan. He first studied and got high distinction at Mudd College in California, and then went on to do the PhD at the University of California, Santa Cruz, and now has been working at the famed Google Corporation. They are Jamaicans at the most prestigious companies all over the world. We are making our mark. We're doing well not just in sport and entertainment, but in a variety of fields. And on Profile, we showcase these persons of excellence who are doing well, carrying the Jamaican flag very high in many places. So today we introduce you to Dr. Sheldon Logan. We thank you for your company. Sheldon, good to have you on Profile. You're a Campion boy, eh?
Yes.
You went to Campion. Campion boasts so many successful people. Is there a Campion success formula? Or is just that Campion, gets the best people?
Probably
a combination
of both. I think Campion really instills excellence in their students, so it motivates them to do well in general. Yes. And then if you see all other people doing well around you, it motivates you to push on also.
So being in that environment of excellence, an environment of successful people who are there because they have done so well, is a motivator in itself.
Yes.
Well, it can be intimidating too if one is not self-confident.
That's probably true. I think there's some people that have struggled because of that. It's a very competitive environment, but it's also, some people strive in it, some people don't.
Mm-hmm. But you did very well in it.
Yes.
You would say, you graduated with 7 distinctions at the CXC O-levels, and for A-levels you had 3 distinctions.
Yes.
Was it maths, physics,
and chemistry?
And chemistry. So you were very, very strong in the hard sciences.
Yes.
Did you from Campion have a desire to go into computer engineering?
Not at all. I actually wanted to be a chemist.
Be a chemist?
I had a very good teacher in my 6th form, Kippy Chin, and from that I definitely want to be a chemist. But when I got to college, the lab work was just not for me, so that's why I switched to engineering.
Yes?
Yes.
Well, you found the lab work too daunting?
I felt like at that time, a lot of the experiments, you already knew the results, so it was kind of a pointless thing to do an experiment if you knew exactly what was going to happen. So I didn't find it as interesting as I thought it would be, so that's when I made a switch to engineering.
So didn't challenge you as much?
Yes, I'd say that.
Yes, yeah. What do you find particularly fascinating about engineering?
I've always been fascinated with gadgets, and so I think that's the reason why I kind of drifted towards that field. From as a child, just playing on the computer, playing around with little gadgets that my father would have, etc. Kind of made me very interested in that field. Yeah.
Your first degree at Mudd College was in general engineering.
Yes. So what they do is that they don't really specialize. They give you a chance to sample all the major fields: computer engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, just so you can have a better idea of what you might want to do postgraduate. Mm-hmm. So that way, if you don't really know, if you haven't tried something, you don't know if you like it or not. So I think it's a good experience from that standpoint, is that I was able to do a lot of courses that people that were, my focus was more electrical engineering, but I've done courses, I've made a hammer and all that stuff that's more mechanical engineering. Yes. And so it made me recognize I definitely want to be an electrical engineer, because time in the wood shop and metal shop making drawings, it's not really, that wasn't really my thing.
Yes. Just a little bit more about Mudd College. It's not very well known. It's one of these small private.
Yes, the small private schools in East LA. It's only technical degrees, so math, physics, chemistry, biology, computer science.
Are there advantages to some of these small schools, and what would they be?
The advantage of going to a small school like that is that you've been taught by, all the classes are taught by professors, as opposed to the larger research universities where the professors are mostly there to do research, and teaching is kind of like a second thing.
Oh, so at a college like Mud College, you get exposed directly to the professors.
Yes.
And teaching is a forte there.
Yes.
That is what they are there for.
Yes.
So that is a definite advantage.
Yes.
And they would have highly recognized people on the faculty at Mud College.
Yes, I mean, most of those small schools would tend to have professors who got their PhDs at like the Caltechs, the MITs, the Cal, Berkeley, etc.
Okay.
And so
those are, and for your first degree where you got the high distinction, were you doing some innovative work there? I mean, I looked at your CV and saw that you had developed a number of systems. Was that only at the graduate level, or from the undergraduate level you had begun to show that ingenuity? So
actually, from my first summer at college, I've done research most of the summers I was in college, and in my first summer, I was working on the wind tunnel lab at Harvey Mudd, and so I helped improve the wind tunnel there in my first summer there. And then my third summer, I actually did some joint work with UCLA.
UCLA?
Yes, on some mathematical biology modeling.
Is that so?
Yes.
Okay. And that was that's during the undergraduate
during my undergraduate
years, yeah.
And that was my first, the professors I was working with was able to publish a journal article on that work. So it was actually my first publication.
So you had your first publication in a peer-reviewed journal?
In a peer-reviewed journal.
From undergraduate years?
Yes.
That's quite an accomplishment. How hard did you have to work for the high distinction? Not just this new, but a high distinction.
It was challenging. It was definitely a lot of work.
So you had a 4.0, right?
You have to be at least 3.7 out of 4.0.
3.7. So, yeah.
So it was a lot of hard work over the 4 years. But I was able to.
How did you strategize for that, Sheldon?
Well, at first it was difficult because I was in a very new environment.
Yes.
It's a little bit different from Jamaica. Also, the people I went to my school were tops in their high school, so it was it wasn't a competitive environment, but everyone around you was like really smart. My first year wasn't that great, but after I got adjusted, I was able to push on, and every year got increased my GPA just a little bit more until my final. I actually made the cut in my final semester, and that's when I got above the 3.7, so I could get a high distinction.
Yes, great. And did you go immediately into graduate work after the first degree, or you went to work?
Actually, yeah, right after. I came back to Jamaica. I worked at the JPS, doing some in the controls done by, I think, Washington Boulevard, and then going back up to start my PhD.
So you moved from the bachelor's degree to the PhD?
Yes.
You didn't go in the master's phase at all?
No, I just applied to PhD programs.
Applied and got to do the PhD program?
Yes.
And the PhD is in computer engineering?
Yes.
And during the PhD program, you also developed some systems?
Yes. So most of my PhD work was in computer design for integrated circuits. And so I developed some like methodologies and algorithms for integrated circuit software.
Yeah. And those, of course, have a great deal of commercial application.
Yes. Actually, in the process of finding a patent for one of the publications I had when I was in grad school.
You're working on patent?
On the whole patent process.
Right. Good. Dr. Sheldon Logan, who is at Google, it's important that we have people at the critical power centers in the world, and Sheldon is certainly there. He's talking to us about his journey. There's much more he has to tell us when we come back from our break on Profile. Welcome back. My guest, Dr. Sheldon Logan, was the winner of the Vivian Rochester Mathematics competition in 2002. Was done well in mathematics, in physics and chemistry, and made the Dean's List every year. That's at
Harvey Mudd College.
At Harvey Mudd College. You ever thought of going to mathematics straight?
So actually, at Harvey Mudd, you have to take 2 years of mathematics, regardless of your major.
Yes.
But once I got to college, I recognized that math was very abstract. Like that, the more you advance in math, the more abstract it becomes, and the less practical you'd say it become. And so, I knew at that point that wasn't necessarily.
You wanted
more practical,
you wanted practical,
hands-on and stuff like that. I felt like math in college was going too far theoretical that you wouldn't have as much interest to me at all.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I've considered it. I've thought about probably doing more numerical, some more applied math. I mean, applied math or statistics. Those are very. Actually, those are fields that are becoming more popular now without the whole big data paradigm where people want to do a lot of analysis. Those are very, very sought after degrees.
Yes, yes.
But not pure math.
Yeah,
pure
but
math
where you are in computer technology, and certainly at Google, you're at the cutting edge of things. What was the Google experience like, being there? How do you feel about the job? What kind of a platform is that for you?
It was actually surreal. Like one experience, the first day orientation, I was going to where the orientation was, and I saw someone with Google Glass on. And at that point, I thought Google Glass was just an idea. I didn't recognize it was actually in production. And so being there where at the cutting edge of all the things that Google is producing, having applications on my phone that's not even released yet.
You have that, are you?
Yeah, it's surreal to me that I'm actually a part of this.
Yes.
Just seeing Larry and Sergey on campus and hearing what's happening within the company, etc. At my orientation, they were showing us Google Maps that hadn't even been released to the public yet, and it was just all this. It was just very at the edge.
So, I mean, it's an awesome future. I mean, you've seen things already that we haven't even heard about.
Yes.
And you can tell us that. I mean,
I can't tell you that.
No, you can't. But you can tell us that the future is way beyond our imagination, and that's not just a cliche.
Well, I mean, that's what they strive to at Google is these moonshots, where a lot of people tend to be incremental in their innovation, but what they try to do is to think of the next big thing. For example, a self-driving car is you have to think big. That's what they think big or don't think at all. That's the philosophy.
Big or don't think at all.
Yes.
Yes. And you get in your job, you get to do a lot of creative work.
So at Google, they have 20% time where essentially what they want you to do is to spend some of your time to work on projects that you want to work on that might have a benefit to the company.
So for that?
Yeah. So one of the rumors, we're not really sure, is that Gmail was a 20% project. Like an engineer thought that this would be nice to have a better email system, and then created that in their 20% time. So
yes,
it's a way to.
So you have a tremendous opportunity. I mean, you can do a lot as an engineer at Google with your 20% time.
Yes, I mean it's there for the moonshots, to create the next big thing. It's a way, because if you don't foster innovation, you might go the way of many big companies that you don't really see around anymore.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Think about cameras. Polaroid was the big market player. Now it don't exist.
Yes.
Even BlackBerry in Jamaica. BlackBerry used to be king in Jamaica.
Of course.
And now it's
yes, it's going on. Yes.
Yeah, so you have to when it's on the top, it's the hardest to stay on the top. So you have to always be constantly pushing yourself.
So there can't be any complacency at all.
No, it can't be any because the next person behind you is always trying to get ahead of you. I mean, if you think Samsung and Apple, when they came up with the smartphones, was the leader on the market, and Samsung is trying to just get it right in.
Absolutely right. But the thinking at Google, Sheldon, is that we have to stay strong. We can't be knocked off. I mean, there's just a culture of excellence and a culture of being at the top at Google?
I wouldn't say it's a culture being at the top. It's just trying to make the mission statement is trying to get information to everyone in a readily, because the way it started was when the web first developed, it was really hard to go through to search the web, and so the founders wanted a way for people to be able to capture that information if they want to search for something, to get that very quickly, and that's why the first thing Google produced was the engine, and so they're trying to basically make all the information readily available to everyone in the world, and so that's the main driving goal. But to do that, you need revenue. So
yes. So, but I guess that Google will be very particular about its hiring. It wants to hire the best people.
Yes, so the whole hiring process is very meticulous.
Meticulous?
Yes.
It's not so easy to get in.
Unfortunately not, no.
Yes. What's the staff complement at Google now? How many persons?
Not sure, but it's growing. It's growing.
It's a growing number.
Yeah.
How do you see your own future in the computer industry? What do you really want to do? How ambitious are you?
Well, ideally, try to climb the technical ladder as quick as possible, so that I can. I think the higher you up, the more you get to control what you work on, and the more you can drive the company in terms of where you can work on projects that you have more control over, as opposed to being more told what to do.
To work on.
Yeah, and so I think I like to be in control and to be able to guide and stuff. So that's kind of where.
Do you think eventually you would want to have your own startup?
At some point, the startup, I mean, especially in the Valley, it's right now is just buzzing. All angel investors, venture capital. Yes. There are a lot of people going. Lot of startups around the place. But I think
you prefer
for
to
me
be in the big
not
pond.
Not really a preference. It's just that I think if I'm doing something, I have to believe in it wholeheartedly. It does not. You have to be a very good idea for me to actually pursue it, and so I must waiting on that. But not necessarily in the States. I think there's Apple opportunities out here for entrepreneurs. So
in Jamaica.
In Jamaica, yes.
And you would come back here.
I would come back here.
Yes, yeah. From your own interaction with people here and keeping abreast of what is happening here in the scientific and technological fields, how would you assess our ability to compete globally? Do we have the talented people here? Do we have the intellectual infrastructure to really take on the world and to make a difference in technology? Think about that as we go to our final break. Dr. Sheldon Logan, our Jamaican at Google, reflecting with us on his path and on the dazzling world of technology. We take a final break. Welcome back. Young Jamaican achiever, Dr. Sheldon Logan, got the PhD in computer engineering from the University of California at Santa Cruz. And I'd asked you about that, our intellectual capital here. Do we have the intellectual capital to really have the technological breakthroughs that Jamaica needs?
I think we do. I mean, going to school in Jamaica, there are definitely a lot of smart Jamaicans.
Yeah.
I think probably what we're not doing is we're not really aligning or coursework or instruction to what is required, what is very because the Valley right now, if you're a software engineer, I mean, you get to pick where you work, as opposed to there are a lot of opportunities in software engineering. That's the hottest, pretty much the hottest thing right now.
Yes.
But I'm not sure if here in Jamaica we're really teaching our students to be good software engineers. Because, I mean, software, you think about the big companies nowadays compared to yesterday, it's the Yahoos, the Facebooks, the LinkedIn's, the Googles. Those are the companies that have the high revenues. I mean, they still have like Apples and Intels, where there's a lot more engineers versus software engineers. But if you look at the way the world is moving, there's a lot more. Software engineering is I think the thing of the future.
And is there a lot of outsourcing where software engineering work is concerned?
I mean, nobody on my team is American. There's a lot of people. I mean, the person sitting across from me is Australian, from Russia, from India, from China, from Korea. It's a whole melting pot. I mean, the Australian, he got recruited from Australia. So, I mean, if you're good, they'll
So the big corporations are looking for good people?
Everywhere.
Yes, yeah. So we need to realign our curriculum with the market needs.
Yes.
And software development is a burgeoning area.
Yes.
Yeah. And you would say that our people, our students have shown a proclivity for science?
Yes. I mean, if you look at, Jamaica is, in terms of being a third world country, the infrastructure here is amazing in terms of the cell phone penetration, the internet penetration.
That's true.
I mean, how many people in Jamaica are not online?
Of course.
And so the infrastructure probably is here.
Yes.
It's just a matter of getting the direction and teaching instruction to make them able to develop these skills that they can market them.
You think our high schools are generally strong enough in science-based education?
Well, I've no basis of a comparison because I've only been to Campion. But I think the problem with science education, especially at high school level, is that there's a lot of capital required for the lab equipment, for the and stuff like that. So I find that the more traditional high schools probably would have more of that stuff available, the facilities available. But for the non-traditional high schools, maybe not. So maybe some capital investment in that area, because I think science is the way of the future, right? So if you're good in those areas, then it's easier to manage a career, to find a career.
How can Jamaicans like you in the diaspora help us here, collaborate with us here to open up opportunities, to funnel resources or direct us to resources that might exist? What kind of role people like you in the diaspora can play?
Definitely mentorship. Because if you have no direction, it's very hard to get to a destination.
Yes.
And so those who have already established careers or starting to establish careers can direct those that may not have as much guidance, so they can know what to do, what's the right things to do, in terms, do you want to get experience, do research in undergraduate levels, or make the connections? Because a lot of, everywhere in the world, no matter where you go, networking is what really gets you jobs.
Yes.
And so establishing networks with the people abroad maybe is one way. Just try to get more communication between everyone.
Yes, good. And you're willing to transfer as much knowledge back here as possible to work with people here in Jamaica, to build a network. You are willing to do that?
Yes, I mean, that's probably an opportunity that's available here. I'm not sure if there's anything else in place, but I think it's important to provide direction, because for a lot of people in Jamaica, they might not have they might have the will, but not the know of how to get where they want.
Yes. Well, we have you there at Google, and we're proud of your achievements. Dr. Sheldon Logan, it has been our pleasure to talk to him. Jamaicans continue to do well all over the world. We showcase them here on Profile. Next week, I'll be back with another achiever. Until then, Ian Bourne wishing you a very pleasant and a very productive week.